Hello everyone, I am back today with a new layout for Wild Whisper Designs. We're going to, I'm showing you here just the products I'm going to be using. This is from the new Nicole Wright Floral Fantasy Collection. And I'm going to use, I just used the Floral Fantasy Collection. And then I'm going to use this stamp. This is the Splotch Stamp, also designed by Nicole Wright. And I'm going to use it. You can see that I have my ginormous Misty out for this adventure. I also have some Distress Oxide inks in Abandoned Coral and Picked Raspberry. And I'm going to make use of my nonstick mat that I keep in my ginormous Misty to do a really fun mixed media background. So we're going to start with the stamping. I'm going to show you here a little bit of a trick. So I find that I need my mats. Maybe I need more magnets for my Misty. I don't know. But I have found that I really enjoy using washi tape to kind of tape my paper down underneath to get really crisp, clean images. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. Anyway, I am going to start with this Splotch Stamp, and I'm going to do, so I'm moving my Misty around everywhere here because I'm trying to get the whole thing into a shot on my camera, which is impossible. So you can see here, I'm going to stamp about half the stamp with Abandoned Coral. I'm going to stamp about half the stamp with Picked Raspberry. I'm inking the stamps up really, really well. And I'm going to start, so I think the first time I stamp this, I stamp it, oh no, I did hit it with the water. So I'm going to hit it with my mister. And that's going to allow me to get like this watercolory look that I really like. I'm going to grab some paper towel. I'm going to kind of just blot off a little bit of where the water pulled. Now, this is a really cool thing because, you know, Distress Oxide reacts with water. This stamp is going to do some cool stuff now. So I'm going to stamp it again on the other side. I'm going to ink it up again. I'm going to spray it some more. And so this is what we're doing. We're pretty much just inking and spraying, inking and spraying. Now that I have about the top third of the paper stamped, I'm just going to add some more water. And I'm not even using the little door thing. I'm just plopping it down, almost similar to what you would do with the smooshing technique, except with a stamp. And it turns out so awesome. So if you want to try this, you ink up your stamp it where you want to stamp it, and now you can see here Distress Oxide ink reacts. So I'm adding water and I'm going to pop it down on, and I'm just spraying it and letting some of the ink react with the water and drip down. This is the magic of Distress Oxide ink because it will react with water and it does all this kind of cool stuff and it doesn't dry right away. And I really, really like how this turned out. So I set that off to dry. I'm going to clean up my area here. So I moved everything and then I forgot to put everything back. So you can see here, I'm inking up same Distress Oxide with Abandoned Coral and Picked Raspberry. I am just smooshing some ink down on this paper, and then I'm going to hit it with my blending brush. And then I think I do this a couple times with just adding the ink straight to the paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some of the ink and kind of smoosh it around a lot. So this is one of the papers from Nicole Wright's paper pack. And I used the other side of this. So this was actually just a scrap, but I really wanted these circles and I wanted them to be part of my design. Now I'm loading up the ink on this paper. Wild Whisper Designs paper is amazing. It will take so many layers of mixed media and it won't warp and it's just amazing. So after I have it blended out the way I'd like it, I'm taking some Dino Wackley glossy accents in white and I am liberally sprinkling all over these circles. So the plan is to fussy cut these circles, not just the ones I colored fully, but then some of the white ones that has just a little bit of that ink kind of like just touching it a little bit. So we're going to have some that are black and white. We're going to have some that are black and white with a little bit of color. And then we'll have these ones that are really saturated with color and then have the white splatters. And then here is that first piece again. So just some information. This is hot press watercolor paper. I use Speedball Fluid 12 by 12 hot press watercolor paper. This polka dot sketch, I think, or this is a stencil. It's just dots, like polka dots. It's, I think this one is from Echo Park or Carta Bella. And I'm using the amazing Vicky Iridescent Glaze through the stencil on top of all that gorgeous watercolor. So this is dry-ish, but it is not thoroughly dry, which means that oxide ink is still going to kind of react a little bit with this paste, and it's going to give the paste this kind of cool color. Just a tiny bit. If you weren't really looking for it, you probably wouldn't notice it. It's very subtle, but I really like to do it this way. So Vicky Iridescent Glaze. When I taught my class for my mixed media background class, we used the glaze quite a bit, and I used the rest of my glaze up. And then two of my students each gifted me with a new tub of the iridescent glaze, which I thought was one of the sweetest things. Thank you so much, guys. You know who you are. I will not run out of Vicky Iridescent Glaze for a while now. So I showed you there our finished, completed background that is thoroughly dry and flattened under a large stack of books. I fussy cut my circles, and now I went through, this is one of the older collections from Wild Whisper, all those florals, and then I found these stamped and fussy cut no-line watercolor pieces that I had watercolored for another project, and then I had just kept them because I didn't use them on the first project, and the colors match so pretty that I decided there would never be a better time for me than this time to use these florals that were all ready to go. So I'm going to start by backing my 3 pictures onto some vellum. I want to pop that middle picture up, and so I'm going to hold off on, actually, like I'm going to put it down and use it as a holder, and then I'm going to put the other black and white one on. I almost put this picture down, the pictures of the flowers, I almost put them down upside down like 4 times. Ugh. I'm just going to go ahead and mat them up with the vellum and then that piece of pattern paper, which is also from that Nicole Wright paper pack. And then I did pop up my middle photo. So I'm going to leave just a wee little bit of this part of putting the layout together in because I wanted to leave all of the background in case someone, any of you wanted to try that background technique. It's quite easy and fun, and it doesn't require a lot of skill. It's really just knowing what your product can do. So for example, I knew that Distress Oxide ink was going to stay wet for a long time. I knew it would react with water, and so I really wanted to take advantage of those and stamp with it while simultaneously not making a huge mess. Like I like my mixed media to have some design, some pattern, something like that. So I layered this, used the stamps and then just some water and then the texture paste. So I'm going to go ahead and add all these circles now where I know what type of design I want my page to have. I have been dying to play with these with a V-shaped design on a page. I've been really wanting to give it a try. So this was where I decided to kind of play with that design concept and really kind of make it my own. And so that's what I'm doing here. I've decided on these black and white Vicky Boot chipboard thickers. Now, of course, these thickers are going to all need glued down. But by kind of getting them onto the page where I want them, I could then take my circles and kind of tuck them in and around the chipboard pieces. And so now we are just gluing, picking up pieces, gluing them down. All the pieces, including the chipboard words, or the chipboard letters, all the things, gluing them down. This took a little while. I'm using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and the reason I'm gluing everything down with wet glue is because when you play with things like inks and pastes and other mixed media things, you always need extra glue, and it needs to be a really good stiff glue. And this is my favorite wet glue. Another really good one is, of course, the Scotch in a fine line bottle, but this Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive, so good, guys. Love that stuff. And here we have the finished product with everything glued down. I did put a couple little elements off the edge just to give it that flow that I enjoy so much, but that's going to complete this layout today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Get out your stamps and your Distress Oxides and play with them. Distress Oxides, paint, and water is magic, I'm telling you. So keep your eyes open, and if you do something like this, if you want to try this out, this technique, by all means tag me because I'd love to see. All right, everyone have a fabulous day, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye.